there's a whole new breed of aircraft taking to the skies. It's one of the most important developments in aviation since the invention of the jet in the 1940s. Today, ultralight planes are giving wings to a dream that was born with the Wright brothers, making powered flight as much a part of everyday life as the automobile. It's now finally becoming possible for anyone to own and operate his own plane. It's the development of ever stronger, lighter, and cheaper materials that has made ultralight aircraft a technical and economic reality. They are now the fastest growing area of general aviation. Don't be fooled by appearances. This is not a conventional biplane, but one of the latest in a series of recent innovations that have led to this dramatically cheaper and simpler form of powered flight. They've come a long way since their early reputation as frail and unsafe. The Renegade fits anyone's definition of a real airplane. Although it can't match the performance of its big brothers, it's much easier to fly, and even more important, much cheaper to operate.
Until 10 years ago, the aviation was only for the rich and the happy few. And since Ultralight made its introduction, this kind of flying is being done by all kinds of people from all layers from the community. So it makes it possible for everybody now to go up in the sky and see how beautiful it is.
Weighing in at only 550 pounds, the Renegade can withstand G-forces of up to 10 times the Earth's gravity. Despite the limitations of its tiny 65 horsepower engine, the Renegade can perform a wide range of aerobatic maneuvers. Oshkosh, Wisconsin. No gathering of airplanes anywhere in the world brings together such a rich variety of flying machines, from the top aerobatic acts to the latest Air Force fighters to the most exotic experimental home-built aircraft. In 7 days, more than 500,000 people and 15,000 planes visit the show. The EAA, or the Experimental Aircraft Association, the much-respected voice of the little man in aviation, is the host and the heart of the Oshkosh show. When ultralights first appeared in the mid-1970s, the EAA immediately backed the new movement, recognizing that it epitomized their ideals. Founded in 1953, the EAA has over the years quietly fostered the build-it-yourself movement in America. The organization's main goal has always been to make it possible for the ordinary person to own his own plane. At Oshkosh, hundreds of ultralight designers, builders, and pilots come together in the festive atmosphere. They come to show off, exchange ideas, and to keep up with the constant innovations in the field. With their relative simplicity, economy of operation, and ability to maneuver in small spaces, ultralight aircraft have made flying a reality for many who could previously only dream of taking to the skies. This man is Britain's most prolific aircraft designer. His name is Mike Whitaker. Over the past 10 years, he's gotten 8 new planes off the drawing board. His dream is to make the cheapest possible plane that's still safe to fly. For anyone who has not taken up flying because of the high cost, now is the time to reconsider. This little aircraft costs no more to build or run than the average second-hand car. In many ways, this plane offers a return to the carefree early days of flying. Ultralight owners are far less encumbered by all the bureaucracy and regulation of mainstream aviation.
I think an aircraft's about the most exciting bit of machinery there is. So it's about the only thing that sort of stirs me.
Today, ultralights are ready to take their place as efficient, fast, and reliable alternatives to the automobile. But so far, they haven't managed to enter the mainstream. Most of the light aircraft now in operation are either aging, outdated, and inefficient spam cans, or just expensive toys. Running on only 2.5 gallons of fuel an hour, an MW7 can take you 300 miles cross-country on a tank of gas, at a total operating cost of under $15 an hour. David Cook is another Englishman driven by the dream of light flight. In his case, though, it's not low cost, but high performance he's after.
This aircraft from here to that hedge over there, which is 100 meters away, will clear a 100-foot tree by 200 feet from a stand-and start from here.
It takes two people just 10 minutes to assemble the Streak Shadow and ready it for flight. An engineer by profession, David Cook decided that his new ultralight would be state-of-the-art. That meant no old-fashioned technology. And being a veteran of more than 3,800 hours of Royal Air Force jets, he was out to maximize performance.
I'll go this time.
His testing ground is a local cricket field. In 7 seconds, the aircraft is airborne and climbing at an impressive 1,600 feet a minute.
No aircraft has ever held a world record of distance, speed, and altitude. This one has come close. I want to show people that this aircraft has not only gone further than all others in its category, it's gone faster, but it also can go higher if you so wish.
With both the speed and distance records under his belt, David Cook's first attempt at going higher took the Streak to over 27,000 feet, only 500 feet short of a world altitude record in its class. Skybound will return in a moment.
This portion of Discovery is sponsored in part by the Australian Tourist Commission. Come feel the wonder.
Was it eons of isolation from the rest of the world? Or was it the way the wind blew? Or the way the rain fell? Was it the angle of the sun? Or was it a bird blown off course that found its way here with a single seed that grew and changed the course of history? Somehow, we just evolved differently. Australia, feel the wonder. For your free 130-page travel planner, call 1-800-395-7000.
Australia's magnificent Great Barrier Reef is one of the wonders of the world. Wonder why no other airline has direct flights to there from here. We do. Qantas. We go further.
So Air Miles is going to fly me free? How generous. What's the catch? So I get these miles on just about anything? Anything? I didn't see a car. So what's the catch? So what's the catch?
From the director of Alien, Blade Runner, and Thelma and Louise comes a voyage beyond the horizon and the truth behind the adventure of 1492.
New world is a disaster.
Gerard Depardieu, Amanda Sante, and Sigourney Weaver in a Ridley Scott film. 1492, Conquest of Paradise. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, October 9th at theaters everywhere.
Robbery, rape, and murder. The acts of children, 16, 13, 12 years old. Kids living in prison, waiting to die. Should they be punished as adults or sheltered as children? Can we save kids who kill on the next Justice Files? Saturday at 10 Eastern, only on the Discovery Channel.
We now return to Skybound.
Anybody who can ride a bike can fly an ultralight. That's my opinion.
Ultralights brought Richard Robart back to flying after ill health ended his Air Force career some 30 years ago. Although now ostensibly retired, he spends all his free time instructing would-be aviators. His passion for flying began as a young boy, when his imagination was fired by the stories of the exploits of fighter pilots during the Second World War.
Pilots in those days, they were my big heroes. And so I wanted to be a pilot myself. Later, I joined the Royal Dutch Air Force and became a fighter pilot there. And then I didn't fly for about 30 years. But then suddenly by coincidence, I came in touch with ultralight aircraft, ultralight flying. It really was a coincidence, and, well, it made my heart go boom again, and that's where I am now. It's real flying. It's real freedom. It's real the excitement of being up in the air with the most primitive ways of flying, and well, it gives me a kick.
Practical ideas for cheap flight for the ordinary person go back to the 1920s. A Frenchman named Henri Meunier designed a series of small, light, stall-proof and spin-proof aircraft that he called flying fleas. They sparked an unprecedented build-it-yourself movement in aviation. Despite some fatal accidents related to an initial design flaw, Meunier's unusual tandem wing concept has proven to be very safe and a delight to fly. But the idea had to await the right materials to truly succeed. His son now carries on the tradition with this updated version, which can also be configured as a crop duster or seaplane. Like his hero, Henri Meunier, Mike Whitaker is a professional engineer with a strong practical bent. The way he brings down the cost of his airplanes is to avoid using expensive, high-grade materials. This means living with some extra weight and losing a little performance, but that's more than compensated for by saving up to 90% on the cost. And with no wind tunnel or computer models to test the new designs, there's only one thing to do: see how they fly.
I don't mind the low-level sort of buzzing around, but long cross-countries tend to wear on my nerves a bit. Well, it's the design and development side that interests me mainly. And I've got to go aloft occasionally to show the builders I have a bit of confidence in my own stuff. And as Henry Mignot said, flying is not all that aviation is about. There are other aspects as well.
Where's Father, then? Usual place? Up in his shed? He's totally taken up with what he's doing. It's not just a hobby to him. It's his life, really. It's not just a thing he can pick up and put down. It's something that totally absorbs him.
The challenge to me is producing the cheap, simple aeroplane. It is low cost, simple to build, and also economical to operate. And to achieve this, it's got to be capable of being quickly dismantled so you can transport it and keep it in your shed or garage at home. And it's got to be capable of operating from rough farm fields.
Ignition on. Clear the prop.
Always on the lookout for improvements, David tests a new engine to see if the power output really matches what's been claimed. His main obsession, though, is with cutting airframe weight. He makes extensive use of a glass honeycomb material that's used for floorboards in many airliners. But it's not just what you use, it's how you use it that makes all the difference.
This is the fuselage section of my aircraft. it's different from all others because it's made so that the primary structure is the seat. And instead of adding a seat to the airplane when you finished it, like every other design I've ever seen, you actually use the primary structure as the seat. That way we save weight. So we use a fiberland material, which is a honeycomb with glass skins either side, and it's expensive, but it's very, very strong and very light, and it suits us real fine.
There are 48 MW prototypes now. This two-seater has clocked over 1,000 hours in the air so far. Once a year, MW owners and builders organize a fly-in to exchange tips and ideas on each other's projects. The festivities get off to a good start with a flying display by two ex-RAF pilots. It's a maiden flight of sorts. The men have just gotten official certification to perform for the public. Even though the MW is an easier plane to build than most, any do-it-yourself project is a major undertaking. Most require between 1 and 2 years to complete. The main role of these meetings is to encourage new owners by giving them flights in existing machines and an opportunity to get expert advice from experienced ultralight aficionados.
Well, this is one of the best finished and built microlights I've seen. And see the nacelles constructed out of the drop tank of a Phantom. And shining example to the rest of us.
Every MW built so far has been test flown by Eddie Clapham, a retired Rolls-Royce engineer who recently co-piloted his MW in an air rally in the Ukraine.
I always wanted to be a test pilot. Well, I never managed it professionally, but at least I can do it as an amateur. Come on, pull him through.
Today, Eddie is testing the first MW7 that's been fitted with a much cheaper air-cooled 50-horsepower engine instead of the normal 64-horsepower one. Exactly how this will affect performance can only be gauged by getting the plane airborne. For Mike Whitaker, this is always a special moment.
It's quite satisfying, to see all these machines coming about and people enjoying themselves. What it's all about.
Don't go away. Skybound will return in a moment.
It's an all-new season coming this fall, only on the Discovery Channel.
Was it eons of isolation from the rest of the world? Or was it the way the wind blew? Or the way the rain fell? Was it the angle of the sun? Or was it a bird blown off course that found its way here with a single seed that grew and changed the course of history? Somehow, we just evolved differently. Australia, feel the wonder. For your free 130-page travel planner, call 1-800-395-7000.
How often do you get the chance to fly Qantas? With more than 40 flights a week to Australia and the South Pacific, including more non-stops with morning and evening departures, quite often, actually, we go further. Qantas.
They ruled our planet for 150 million years, then mysteriously disappeared. Now join the largest dinosaur hunt in history as scientists from Canada and China travel to the searing Gobi Desert, the Badlands of Alberta, and Canada's high Arctic in search of these primordial giants, in search of answers, in search of the dragon. Sunday beginning at 9 Eastern, only on Discovery Sunday.
Sure. With Air Miles, I just buy the things I need, like cha-cha lessons. Normally, my family eats. That's big. That's 4 miles. So what's the catch? Aha! Free? How much is that?
Usually, when you send flowers out of town, you give the order to somebody who takes a cut. then he passes the order to somebody else, who takes a cut. But now there's Flowers Direct that actually lets you speak to a florist in the area where you're sending the flowers. Flowers Direct. All we cut is the middleman. Call Flowers Direct now, 1-800-621-2121.
And now, back to Skybound. The current vogue is for tail-dragging 1940s-era lookalikes, and among those, the Kit Fox is by far the most successful. Its performance characteristics are run-of-the-mill, but with more than 1,500 units sold to date, the Denny Aircraft Company is obviously producing exactly what the customer wants. It's now undoubtedly the most popular aircraft kit in the world. The conventional aluminum frame fuselage is assembled along with all the other parts necessary at the factory in Nampa, Idaho. The Kit Fox can lift about 510 pounds off the ground and cruise at 75 miles per hour for a duration of around 3 hours. As part of a continual process of improvement, the Kit Fox's designers have outfitted it with a new wing. The new airfoil and full-span flaperons offer better stall control and make possible a lower landing speed, nearly twice the roll rate, and a higher cruising speed. A new and more powerful 80-horsepower motor has also improved the performance of the model fitted with floats or skis. Starting from humble beginnings in 1984, the company now turns out around 50 kits each month and ships them to more than 24 countries around the globe. Many of them are built by people who have never built an airplane before.
I got tired of renting airplanes and the inconvenience associated with, trying to get a plane and getting time. I wanted to get my flight time up quite a bit, so what I did is I needed something that'll carry a load, because I'm a large guy, and be relatively easy to build, and the Kit Fox looked like that, all for a reasonable price. It seemed like kind of old-fashioned design techniques and things that have been around a long time that I figured were pretty reliable. So I trusted it and bought it without seeing one. And currently now I have about 600 hours into it, and I figure I got another at least 200 or 300 left to go. And that's why I dedicated all my other free time outside of the things with the family to doing the Kit Fox. That would be like vacation time. Instead of taking a trip or go camping this year like we normally would, I've been spending all that time building. I've never flown a tail dragger. Truth is, I've never even flown a high-wing airplane. All my time's been in a Tomahawk and a Warrior. So I hope it's going to be fun. I get a little tired now and then, get a little discouraged, but what I do then is I flip on my video, and I sit by TV at night and I watch my the 15-minute promotional video and say, that's what it looks like, and that's what I'm building, that's what I'm going to be doing, and it's not that far away. I don't know, it's hard to explain, I guess. It's like a perfect feeling of freedom, of being part of the wind. And, you're doing something that a lot of people dream of, yet I'm doing it for myself.
The human imagination has no limits, and there will always be people who dare to dream. Some aviation developments come and go, but ultralight aircraft are here to stay. They have no need for airports and aircraft hangars, and they're unburdened by much of the red tape of conventional aviation. It is really all about freedom. These aircraft fulfill a need that cannot be met by anything else. the ultralight embodies powered flight in its simplest form. But there is still a great deal of prejudice in the mainstream aviation world against these unconventional mini-craft. In the period of a single lifetime, aviation development has brought us from speeds of 15 miles per hour to ones of over 2,400. In that time, the airplane has shrunk the Earth to a global village. A great achievement. But in our hurry, we have lost sight of what has motivated the visionaries of manned flight since Leonardo da Vinci. The dream that taking to the air will one day be as easy for man as it is for the birds.
In England, you can fly from anywhere you like, provided you have the owner's permission. You don't need officialdom to get involved. And we find these airplanes are very good for going and visiting friends who have fields that are suitable. And it's surprising how many people have got suitable fields. So I think that to be free from the sort of officialdom and free from air traffic control and able to sort of go when you want and come back when you want, and all the discipline is sort of self-discipline, somehow it makes a very, very satisfying activity, I think.
Coming up, rare and unusual animals of the Galapagos Islands, from giant tortoises to prehistoric iguanas, as Discovery presents Profiles of Nature, next.
It's an all-new season coming this fall, only on the Discovery Channel.
Sure. With air miles, I just buy the thing.